All right, welcome back to another episode of the Potential Project. I hope you're having a great start to your day. And speaking of that, if you're up today and you're listening to this, I hope you found something to be grateful for. I try to start my mornings with a little bit of gratitude when I first wake up and when I brush my teeth. Just a reminder of all the good things that you do have and the fact that you woke up to live another day. Always try to start your days off with some gratitude. But today, what I want to talk about is something that I've been acknowledging more in my life, and that has, been a huge part of my personal growth journey and pursuing my full potential um, in all areas of life. And that is being coachable for growth, right? And being coachable in general. So the way I look at it is if everyone is trying to grow, right, in all areas, in your health, in your relationships, in your career, your finances, if we're trying to grow and pursue our full potential, we need to be coachable, right? Because there are those that have lived before us, that have done it, or who are living right now, who have already done what we're trying to do, who can coach us, right? So really today, there's probably a lot of things that I can talk about, but today I want to break down the two ways that I know to be coachable and that have worked best for me, and how I'm, implementing them into my own life now. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because, again, I've acknowledged that it's very, very important to know how coachable you are, know that it changes on a day to day basis, and even it changes all throughout the day. You might be coachable in the morning, but not coachable in the afternoon due to some circumstances, and that might affect, how much you get out of it or how much progress you can make or what you're really able to learn and do. I'm going to break these things down, and hopefully you can see how this is being affected in your life and how you can make some small adjustments or acknowledgments towards progress. So the first thing to see is like, how coachable are you? Right? Because if you're not coachable, you're not able to grow, you're not able to make adjustments and improvements. So the two ways that you can figure out how coachable you really are is to say, what are you willing to give up? And what is your willingness for change? Right? Because if you go back to what are you willing to give up? So if you think about the favorite things that you like to do, whether it be watching TV or scrolling on Instagram or whatever it is, you're probably going to have to give up some of that or a variation of it in order to make growth, right? In order to be coachable. Because let's say you are trying to lose weight and you're eating fast food, 5 times a week. Well, if you came to me and asked, how can I lose weight? Well, I'm going to tell you that you need to limit the amount of times. Maybe it's not five, maybe it's three for a start for how many times you're eating fast food, but that's going to have to be something that you give up, right? So what are you willing to give up? And honestly, a lot of times the things that are more severe and are harder to give up are the things that are going to give you the most bang for your buck and allow you to grow at the fastest rate, right? Like if for the weight loss example, if you said, hey, I am eating out fast food like 5 days a week, and you all of a sudden didn't eat fast food any times, like you went to zero, you gave it up completely, that's probably going to allow you to make the biggest jump in your health, but that might not be where you're at in your journey. You might have to go from 5 times a week to 4 times a week, but that is still something you are giving up. So you could plug and play this scenario for anything in life, right? Like if you're trying to, for example, I'm learning guitar right now, right? You're going to have to make time to practice that. So for me, what am I willing to give up? Maybe that's 30 minutes of TV that I would normally be watching and just sitting on the couch to, practicing the guitar. That's something that I have to give up in order to get something that I want. So that's one of the variables. The other variable is, what is your willingness to change? So that kind of like goes hand in hand with what are you willing to give up? But it's worth repeating because, I've talked to people sometimes where they've told me, "Hey Sean, I really, really, really want to lose weight. Like I want to lose 40 pounds, and it's been here for, 10 plus years, but I'm telling you right now, I'm not changing the way I eat." And I look at people and I say, well, like, before you even allow me to speak, you're telling me I want things in my life to change, but I'm not willing to change. Now, how much sense does that make? And I think it's because it's uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable to change. It's like I'm so used to doing this. I'm so used to eating this way. I'm so used to having this as a part of my schedule. I'm unwilling to change those things because it's going to be uncomfortable for me, but I want something in my life to change. Now, maybe as I'm saying it to you, that it kind of sounds like goofy, right? Because it is, right? I want something to change, AKA my weight or how much muscle I have or my physique, but I'm not willing to change. And not only that, in this scenario, the thing that they weren't willing to change was like the most direct variable in the result, right? Like if you're telling me, hey, Sean, I want to lose 40 pounds, but um I'm not willing to give up, emailing people at noon instead of 4 p.m. Well, that really doesn't have anything to do with your weight loss, right? But if you're telling me, hey, I want to lose 40 pounds, but I'm not willing to change what I eat, that's like the most direct variable to eating. So you have to be willing to change, right? And like I said, with what are you willing to give up? It doesn't have to be extreme. And I think maybe that's where some people's heads go, where their mindset goes, is that change equals the most drastic thing in the world that they've never done before. And it's so painful and it's so uncomfortable that they're not going to be able to do it. Right. Maybe in this person's mind, when they said, Sean, I want to lose weight, but I'm not willing to change what I eat, maybe they thought I was going to tell them you have to, eat celery sticks all day long and like never drink sweet tea again. Like you're just drinking water and celery all day long. That's not the approach, right? Back to what I was saying about what are you willing to give up? Maybe you were eating fast food 5 times a week. And the change that's going to have to happen for you is you're going to have to eat it 4 times a week. There was there was a change, right? It wasn't huge. It was a step forward in the right direction, but you have to be willing for that. If you flat out say I'm not willing to change, well then you're not willing to get the results that you want. So those are the two variables to see how coachable you are, right? What are you willing to give up and what's your willingness to change? And really dependent on that is the severity of it. Again, you don't need to be extreme and go cold turkey on certain things, but some people are like that, right? Some people can just say, you know what, I'm doing it. Other people need one little step at a time in the right direction, and eventually they will get there. So when you're saying to be coachable, what is the first thing that you need to do? So the first thing that we have to do is to seek out people or companies or books or whatever who physically have the result that you want, right? If you are trying to lose weight and you're going to an overweight person, they might not be able to give you the best answers and the best way to get there, right? If you are going to anyone. Like you wouldn't go to a financial advisor who's broke, right? You would want them to be in control of their finances and wealthy, and they can give you the tools to getting you there, maybe the fastest or the most reliable, sure way. I think a lot of times what happens with social media and Instagram is everyone is now a professional on a topic. Now, this is me telling you that you can take what I say with a grain of salt, right? If you feel like it doesn't resonate with you, I'm not trying to say I'm the professional in all areas and you need to take what I say and it's perfect and I'm right about everything. I say that before anything. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. I'm just giving my internal thoughts and feedback on certain areas. But what happens is people will join courses and programs and coaching online from people who they think have what they want, right? You see them posting pictures with cars and doing different things on Instagram, and you're like, ooh, they have that. They're making 10K a month doing this online thing. Well, you have to go deeper than that, right? You're like, Sean, well, they have the physical thing that I want. Well, the way you can go deeper is how are they making their money? And the answer for most of them is people are getting rich by showing people, how to get rich, right? So if I have a program on how to do like an online funnel and how you can do like drop shipping or something like that online, and I'm teaching other people, now I'm charging you $1,000 for my course to show you how to make this funnel, when really the way I'm getting wealthy is by training you on how to do this system, right? So I'm not really making money from the thing that I'm talking about. So you have to go a little bit deeper and see, like, who are these people that I'm getting the information from? Because you might be so gung ho to start this program or this training course that you found online, but the people who are giving you the information are not really noteworthy, right? They haven't really done what they say to do. They're only getting rich from teaching people like you how to get rich. So it's kind of like a backwards cycle that that doesn't lead anybody in the right direction, and it's not really worthwhile, right? Like that money might get them so far, but if you're not actually putting that into a real business and treating people with proper, customer service and giving people value, you're just going to kind of spin your wheels, and you got to watch out for people like that. So, first thing is to seek out the people who physically have the result you're looking for. Do your due diligence, do your research, and you got to find those people. Now, with those people, when you finally found the right mentor or the right coaching program or the right whatever, the coach, this can save you years of mistakes, because most likely this person, they've been doing it for X amount of years and they've made all the mistakes in the book, right? They've tried and made adjustments and tried and kept doing those things until they figured out, oh, wait a second, this is the way I should do it. You course correct and you move on. So if you listen to these people, they can save you years of mistakes. Now back to what it takes to be coachable is, what are you willing to give up and what are you willing to change? Because if I were the expert on, let's say, fitness, and I can give you these simple tools to losing weight and being healthy, but you tweak them, right? You're doing it. I say you need to work out 3 times a week. You only do it once. Or I say, you should be eating these foods instead of these ones, but you don't really do it, and we don't get the result, well, that's not helping you either, right? When you get these people, you need to be coachable enough to follow the recipe, so to speak, right? If I was a baker and I told you how to make these amazing cookies, but you took the recipe and you changed the temperature, you changed the amount of sugar, and you didn't use eggs. When I have eggs in my delicious chocolate chip cookie recipe or whatever, you're not going to get the result. So I think a lot of times people will do the due diligence, they find the coaching program, they find the thing, but then they don't follow the recipe. They don't do it to their ability, and then they don't get the desired result. So you have to be willing to change, and you have to be willing to give things up in order to follow that coach, follow that program, get the result. Now, the second way that you can make growth and be coachable is on your own, right? I would suggest that you do both of these hand in hand, right? Like you have the coach, you have the mentor, the program, the something to follow. But then the second way is to be open to feedback and to make the necessary adjustments, right? So in life, we do things, right? We fall, we get back up, we touch a burning stove, we don't do it again, right? We are constantly getting feedback and making adjustments as we go. So whether you're trying to start and grow a business, whether you're trying to lose weight, whatever your goal is, you need to be hyper aware of the scenarios and what's going on in life, right? And allow yourself to get feedback. That's the biggest thing. Feedback from others, feedback from your own thoughts and experiences, right? Like if I try something where it's like a marketing effort where I want to try to get people into the studio and it is just not working and not working month over month or whatever it is, however long, I can sit back, I can assess and say, okay, that was not the right way to do it. We make one tweak to it, and boom, all of a sudden you see some traction and you see some growth, and that's the path that we can go down and continue to create those forks in the road where it's like, all right, we're doing this. How can we make it better? We try this, which way worked? And you keep doing that all the way down the road until you find the most simple, easiest, best way for growth, right? You're trying a coaching program and you're doing every single thing they say and it's not working, well, you make the adjustment and you're able to see how you can grow. So I think obviously it's easier, so to speak, to just pay somebody and say, tell me the secrets, tell me the mistakes that you made and let me, do this on my own. But you need to be aware that it's not always perfect and you can make some course corrections yourself. I think this second one is the biggest thing for me in knowing that we don't always have to look to someone else for the answers, right? We're very intelligent, we're very intuitive beings, and you all have a gift in some way, shape, or form, right? And we all have a brain that we can use to think. So that's the biggest thing is that we don't give ourselves credit to say, oh, we need someone else to tell us what to do. Sometimes you're able to really gain momentum by just analyzing your own stuff, right? Like you live your day, you go about your day, and you make choices all day long. Should I go this way to work? Should I go this way? Should I eat this for lunch or should I eat this for lunch? Should I call this person? Should I not? Right? You're making decisions all day long. And then you can be aware of, hey, did this decision lead me towards where I want to, towards my goal, towards progress, or not? And then make the acknowledgement and the active decision to not do the wrong thing the next time. Right? When you're a little kid, I was in my parents' car and I didn't know what the car lighter was. So I was playing around with it, pushing it in, taking it out. And then I took it out, and for whatever reason, I looked at it and I pressed my thumb really hard into the middle of it and burned my thumb. Like it looked like a target on there. If you guys are old enough to know what a car lighter is, it heats up to light your cigarette, right? And I put my thumb on there and burned the crap out of myself. I never did that again, right? I knew what that car lighter did. I knew I had to ask my parents, "Hey, sorry for doing this. What is this thing for?" And I never did it again, right? That's how life works. If you try something and you get burned or you lose money or you got into a bad situation or you're in a bad relationship, whatever it is, you need to acknowledge that, maybe journal it out, maybe talk to a friend. If you have a therapist, talk to a therapist about it. Get the situation out there, analyze it, and then course correct and adjust. That is the other way. I don't want to say quickest way to grow, but I think what happens is we get stuck in making these same mistakes over and over again, right? You burn yourself on the car lighter, and then the next week you're like, oh, what's this? Let's try it again. And you burn yourself again. Now, you probably wouldn't do that because of how bad it hurt, but in life, if you find yourself in the same relationship with a different person, but the same type of person every time, well, you haven't learned, you haven't acknowledged what those things were that needed to change, So for me, it's like, I'm trying to constantly be aware of, okay, what decision did I make? What was the outcome? And then if it was an outcome that I didn't want, how can I make an adjustment, reach out to a certain person, make a tweak here or there, and make that step forward towards progress? So just to recap, being coachable is huge on progress, on growth, on pursuing your full potential. And remember, to see how coachable you are, you have to figure out how willing are you to give things up and what is your willingness to change, right? Because we must do those two things to be able to absorb the coaching and the feedback and grow. Then the two ways that you can make those growth steps with being coached is the first way is to physically have someone in your life, a coach, a mentor, program that has the results that you want and follow their recipe to a T, right? Believe and fully understand that they're leading you in the right direction and follow what they have to say. But do your due diligence first. Make sure it's a viable source and you fully believe that what they've done is real and authentic with who you are. And then if that's the case, follow them to a T. And the second way, which you should be doing, hand in hand with a coaching program or a mentor, is your own feedback, right? Make your decisions, give yourself feedback, analyze where the decision got you. Was it progress? Was it stagnation? Was it going in the wrong direction? Right. And then course correct there. And the quicker you can do that and make those decisions on the right path, the quicker you're going to get to your goal. So I always leave you with, if you got any value of this, if you, thought of someone when I was talking to send it to them, right? You can always share this episode on social media through text. Like, subscribe, give me feedback. If you guys know me personally, message me. I want to know what you guys want to talk about, guests that you want to have on, because I do this for you guys, right? I'm taking my learned lessons in life and putting them into a podcast format because sometimes it's nicer to talk about it rather than try to make an Instagram post or a quick reel or anything like that, right? I like to talk through these situations. So I'm not coming from my ivory tower. I'm coming from experiences and things that I've learned, and that I'm trying to express through this content. So if you have feedback, please let me know. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day.